Welcome back, everyone. We're live here at the Channel Partners Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. On this episode of Cyber Confidential, brought to you by the Managed Service Provider Association of America. I'm here with Jay Morris from Keystone Solutions. Jay, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right, Jay, give us a scoop.
Well, Keystone Solutions is a managed services provider and cybersecurity provider based out of Cleveland, Tennessee. We've been in business 20 years. We focus on, our average customer we focus on is about 100 to 150 users. Some of our verticals are healthcare, professional services, and manufacturing.
Okay, how many clientele are you serving right now?
We're about 500 customers nationwide.
Okay, so you're big time. We were going over this in our prep. 500 clients, that's a lot. You're a big time managed service provider. You've been named a couple of verticals. What do you find is the most common one that you're serving recently?
A lot of manufacturing and professional services, architects, law firms, and a fair amount of healthcare, especially when they need compliance.
Okay. And you were saying 100 employees is a good sweet spot for the type of clientele that you're serving right now?
It is. We'll go down to about 25 and we'll go up significantly above that, but our average is about 150 users.
So at this point in a business's life cycle, when they're crossing 100 users, they're crossing that chasm of being a small business trying to get into the medium business. A lot of people say they serve small and medium business. Jay's actually doing the medium part of this, which is a rarity. So what kind of growing pains is the business going through when they're crossing over this big milestone and hitting 100 employees?
A lot of times it's, just they need a little bit bigger depth and breadth, in an MSP organization. They may be needing a VCSO. They may be requiring some compliance services and things like that, which sometimes, is the next level up from an MSSP that's, sort of crossed that divide.
You find that 100 employee small business has an internal IT person, or they have been outsourcing everything?
Most often they have someone. They have a CIO at least.
So this is a strategic level.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and or sometimes they'll have one or two. And if they have one or two, and those are folks that those are clients that would like to leave that sort of personal touch inside their company, then we'll give them a hybrid. We'll give them our stack, but we'll also give them all of our tools, and they'll be able to interact with us to handle the low-hanging fruit, and then everything else gets escalated to us. We're still managing all the endpoints. We're still managing all the cybersecurity. We're just catapulting some of those, password resets and things, kicking them back to the company, unless they're on vacation or things like that.
Yeah.
Then it gets escalated to us.
Okay, let's talk about these growing pains more, because I find that you're going to have a valuable and rare insight into the businesses that are hitting this 100 employee mark. A lot of managed service providers are serving smaller clients. So this can be somehow where they look to the roadmap of getting their clients to grow.
So one example would be a reasonably small financial services firm, about 25 users, and they had just gotten to the point where the clients they're dealing with and the services they're providing are now pushing them into a much higher level of compliance, including GRC, and that's where we were able to come in. Their current MSP, just didn't quite have that horsepower. It was sort of a small, two guys in a truck, so to speak. Yeah. And they just wanted to move up to that next level, and they were a perfect fit for us.
And what was the before and after experience for them?
The before and after was they were either going to have to go hire their own CISO, okay, or find a provider that could also offer that service. And because we provide a service that's part of our IT team's service stack, which also includes compliance and GRC, for a very small uptick in the price, they now get all their pen tests, all their GRC documentation, all their compliance information, all filled out by us. So now they don't have to either go out and source that. They don't have to get an annual pen test from someone else, and they don't have to perform all that work themselves. We're able to do it for them. So.
You're touching on like some of the primary core benefits of outsourcing to a specialized provider, being the MSP in this case.
Yeah. Exactly.
How much would a small business have to pay in salary for a CISO if they're 25 employees? What's the going rate?
It's over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over 100 and probably under 2, but depending on the market.
Okay, so that's a significant chunk of money.
Right.
How easy is it to find a CISO if you're a 25 employee financial services company?
Well, I have my experience is it's pretty tough right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the growing pains. Like if you find yourself in this position, and you're looking at compliance requirements, which is like impacting many verticals now. If you're comparing hiring someone internal, the cost of that decision is at least 100 grand, 150 grand when you take into account all of the mandatory employment costs.
Right.
So that's the comparison, and that's just a single person with a hiring process and a recruiting fee, probably at this level.
And you take a 100 user account, okay, times my cost of, per user, all in, I'm going to be right at that, and that includes CISO, but also includes all of your managed services, all of your endpoints, EDR, MDR, SIEM, everything.
And even more importantly, like that tech stuff is good, but I think more importantly is the resilience that comes from having your team's diverse brain versus the same amount of money, but just placed on a single human being that does one thing, and they have one set of experiences, and they can only do one thing, and they go on vacation for 4% of the year too. So,
well, if you went out and tried to hire a CISO with the depth and breadth that our whole organization has, that'd be a $400,000 a year position.
Totally.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, so compliance was one of the triggers that you had mentioned in that growing pain story. Do you find compliance being the trigger that is getting a lot of clients to come to you?
When they need compliance, yes. I mean, let's remember there's a lot of companies that don't require compliance, right? They don't need it either because they're not storing customer information or they're not in a field where they need to. So, but yes, in that space, in the compliance space, it's probably one of our fastest growing sectors.
Okay, I find that a lot of MSPs look at compliance as like a silver bullet that's going to like just bring everyone to them, and leads are going to come as laydowns. Is that your experience?
No.
Okay, so
not at all.
So the stick in the carrot and stick analogy is not getting people to just lay their money down.
No.
So how do you make this conversation so that you can show the prospective client the return on investment? Because that's got to be why they do it. What's the conversation there?
Well, most of the time, it's like we tell customers, even from the first day that we meet them, is we never try to sell them. We're an engineering company. We engineer solutions. For instance, we never come to presentations or discovery calls with bullet point presentations. We don't want to spew a bunch of accolades about our company.
That's what engineers would do, though.
What we want to do is find the pain, see if we're a good fit for them, are they a good fit for us, and if we can deliver a good value proposition. All the selling is always done at our reference level. We give them 3, 5, a half a dozen, however many references they want.
Sure.
Reach out to the customers and ask about the experience, right? Because at the end of the day, bullet points and promises on presentations don't mean anything. It's all about what does your MSA say, what does your SLA say, and how do your customers feel about you?
Let's go back to this financial services thing. Because what compliance framework were they impacted by? Like, what they had to get on board with?
SEC compliance.
Okay, so they were publicly traded.
Yes.
Okay, and that SEC thing it's now almost 2 years old. Is it 2 years old or a year and a half old? Time dilation. Anyways, what was the return for them? Like, they got compliant. Now they can bid on bigger contracts, or they can serve larger clients. What's the return on investment?
I couldn't speak to their exact return, personally, what they gained from it, other than peace of mind.
Okay.
That was the biggest thing that they needed was, they never felt that they were truly in compliance. And now with us, we're SOC 2, Type 2, through and through, up and down, no exceptions. And that is, that a lot of times when in the compliance world, that's the silver bullet you need. If you don't have that, then
this is part of their risk management.
Correct.
Okay, so you're talking to their board, even at 25 employees, they're going to have a board, and the board is motivated to manage risk.
Yeah, and when you're talking about public companies, we end up at, when we're their compliance side, a lot of the time we're sitting in at least some factor or portion, in those board meetings. Yeah.
Because that's the strategic partnership you have.
Well, we're their
clients.
CISO, right? Yeah,
totally.
Exactly. So we are, on the basic level, we're their VCIO.
Right.
At the compliance level, we're their VCISO.
Okay, so you're answering in this case to shareholders and their board on their risk management strategy, not just for facilitating the delivery of value to their clients, but how they continue to operate with duty of care.
That's correct.
Okay, great. What about CMMC? Are you covering that for some manufacturing clients?
Not right now.
Okay.
Not right now. Not at,
Why not? Because it sounds like should be part of your profile.
it is. It's
Yeah?
just it's just another level that we're working on. So
So what's the bread and butter then in terms of like compliance frameworks that you're engaging with for clients?
it's typically HIPAA, NIST, the financial services side of compliance, and again, I'm not an engineer, so I might have to.
HIPAA's a fun one to talk
to my
about.
VC. So
Let's talk about HIPAA.
You want the answer to that?
Because I think you have, a unique perspective on this. A lot of MSPs that talk about HIPAA are talking to small clinics, like small dental clinics, physio, that kind of stuff, who don't really take HIPAA seriously.
Right. They don't.
Honestly.
Actually, almost none of them do.
So who in your portfolio of clientele take HIPAA seriously?
Small hospitals.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely take it seriously. Larger dental practices and healthcare practices that are multi-location.
So like a dental group.
A dental group. We have one that is growing 5 or 6 locations a year. They're probably up to 20 or 30 now. So.
And why do they start like what milestone do they cross where they start caring about it?
It's different for everybody. They saw something on it, and it's made them worry, or their investment group, maybe they're PE driven, so that PE group has someone internally that's like, you guys got to get to this point.
Again, for risk management.
For risk
so
management.
this isn't a stick for them. This is the carrot. Like they're intrinsically motivated because they get to a large enough level where the shareholders in the business want predictability and they don't want to wake up to a $250,000 ransomware bill.
Correct, exactly.
So this is how they get proactive.
It's a backstop, yeah.
Exactly, and this is how you present it.
It's an insurance policy, basically.
Sure.
In its own, besides cyber insurance, it's kind of its own insurance policy.
Right, the proactive investment.
Correct.
Okay, great. What are you doing here at the Channel Partners Expo?
Well, we sell a lot through the channel. We're a big Telarus partner, and we've been coming to this show. I've been coming to this show now since it started. Before it started, it was called something else. So it's almost like by habit now. You just have to be here.
Yeah.
You see so many familiar faces
Sure.
that and work with every day. So it's good time to catch up. It's also a good time to have meetings with new partners that we may not have met yet, that aren't selling our services, and we're trying to convince them to do that. So.
Cool. What's your big milestone goal for the end of 2025?
We're going to try to grow by another 50% in 2025, and we're sort of on track for that. So.
Where do you see the healthy growth opportunity in the small and medium business market in the United States? Where do you see a good opportunity for servant value?
We're not going to change what we're doing. We're doing it, whatever we're doing it right now. And as I sort of mentioned to you in the pre-interview, is like our differentiator is we're sort of an all-in company. Price predictability is very important. So many customers are used to being nickel and dimed, for a truck roll or for a small statement of work, takes a couple hours, things. All that is thrown in with us. We're not at the bottom of the scale on the per user rate, but we're not near the top, and the value that we provide for what we do, for the price that we do charge, I think is being pretty much accepted in the market as one of the best values in the industry right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had mentioned even your price points, and it is a competitive. You're definitely benefiting from the network effect. You have an economy of scale serving 500 clients.
And we have relationships walking into those accounts. It's not ours yet, but we have a trusted advisor who knows that customer, who the customer trusts, and by bringing us in, because we've been vetted by a very large organization and obviously have a lot of sales through them, and the performance on those sales and the retention of those customers is also being measured. And since we keep our customers so long, they stick with us an average of almost 10 years. There's a reason for that, and that plays very well in the channel, because let's remember what they're after. It's residuals for as long as they can last.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we're here with Jay Morris at the Channel Partners Expo in Las Vegas. That was a deep dive on the growing pains for the small businesses trying to make that jump to become medium businesses. There's a lot of stuff that goes into actually growing the business, and Jay can help you make sure that you exercise duty of care and get the predictability with both operations and risk management. Jay, great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.